magnificent. I'm delighted to announce that Rich Energy, the UK's premium energy drink, is coming back to Formula One. A friend of ours has agreed a deal for a majority stake in a Formula One team, and we will become a partner of that team for 2021. Once that acquisition is announced, we will become the title sponsor for 2022.
They're back. Yep. I'm talking about Rich Energy, the British energy drinks company that for the last 3 years has become the smouldering dumpster fire of the Formula One world. Whether they like to admit it or not, Rich Energy and its personnel have attracted attention to the sport for all the wrong reasons. And now that they're staging a comeback, I figured I'd wax the proverbial carrot of the YouTube algorithm and bring up this bundle of fun again, especially for the newer viewers who are fortunate enough not to witness this farce that transpired in 2019. So Rich Energy's story started back in 2015. At least, that is what the company's founder would like to tell you. Having said that, the stuff that bloke says kinda leaves you guessing. Like some kind of weird guessing game, I don't know. The man in question is William Storey. Now, Bad Santa's backstory will come later. All of that sounded horrible spoken out loud, but anyway, let's turn our attention back to the Rich Energy brand itself. Now, the origin of the brand is a little hard to nail down, but essentially, it all kicked off in Croatia in 2011. Storey bought the brand, based it in London, and to this day continues to tout it as the UK's premium energy drink. However, while you would think the Rich Energy name was attached to the brand ever since he bought it from that Croatian, he would claim that the Rich stands for Richmond Park just outside of London. Whether there is any truth to that, I don't know. Everything is shady, everything is sketchy. Everything is as secretive as the KGB with this brand. They sponsored various things around Europe in terms of events and athletes and so on, including a few racing drivers such as Jordan King and Toby Sowery. But where they became relevant in the world of Formula One was when they put their hand up to purchase the ailing Force India team in 2018. However, they were turned away as they were essentially not deemed a viable option over the likes of Lawrence Stroll, who, along with a consortium, purchased the team, raised it from the dead, and turned it into a permanent home for his son Sir Lancelot. This, however, was when most motor racing fans, or as a matter of fact, most human beings on planet Earth, had ever heard of Rich Energy. Who were these guys? What's their story? And wait, hang on. What exactly do they do? Right. They sell energy drinks, just like Red Bull. But of course, Red Bull's a dirty word to them. They're better than Red Bull. Now, let me preface this by saying that I have tasted the beverage myself, and I must be honest, it's genuinely not bad. Having said that, it is very similar to Red Bull. Not saying it is Red Bull, but let me put it to you this way. It's like comparing Under Pressure from Queen to Ice Ice Baby from Vanilla Ice. Now do with that information what you will. Revel out.
Ding 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 diggy ding.
It was very hard to find a can of this stuff when I acquired it. Of course, now you can purchase this stuff online and have it delivered to your door. And honestly, if this stuff was relatively cheap compared to the other energy drinks on the market, I would get it. But I just have one question for Bad Santa. Why in the hell is shipping to any place south of your Richmond dungeon costing consumers an arm and a leg? 85 quid to ship this stuff to New Zealand, Aussie or the United States? Get out of here. But getting back to the topic at hand, with the purchase of Force India out of the question, Rich Energy looked elsewhere. Instead of purchasing a team, they were willing to settle for title sponsorship instead. They were reportedly close to signing a deal with Williams for the 2019 season until Haas were willing to prostitute themselves for a lower fee. And from what I've been able to gather, Claire Williams and her team of lawyers were waiting in a restaurant for him to suss out the final details in their proposed contract. This was on the same weekend that he was a guest of honor in the Williams garage for the United States Grand Prix in Austin, Texas. Only thing is that Bad Santa never arrived and instead fled to sign a deal with the Haas Formula One team for the 2019 season. Alas, what we saw was a Haas Formula One car draped in Rich Energy colors, reminiscent of the John Player Lotus livery from the 70s and the 80s, with Storey claiming that the brand had brought back the iconic colors to the Formula One grid. Very cool, very cute. If you ignore the low tide from 2011 to 2015, but I mean, hey, details, schmeetails. Now, in the lead up to the season, Storey was making headlines touting his brand to be better than Red Bull after the first day of preseason testing. Although, why he was overjoyed by preseason testing times, I don't really know. But of course, once the season got underway and reality set in, Haas very quickly ended up on Bad Santa's list. The attention surrounding the brand and the man who ran it wasn't really aided when the logo fiasco came about. White Bikes ended up taking Rich Energy to court, as they claimed the stag logo used by Rich Energy was somewhat similar to that of their own. Now, looking at these logos side by side, I can't see what White Bikes were on about. I mean, they have the same basic design and dimensions and everything, but apart from that, they look nothing alike. As you might have guessed, Rich Energy lost that lawsuit and were forced to change their logo. They were forced to remove the stag logo from all advertising and whatever from July 18, causing more headaches for Haas, who were already creating problems for themselves. They were also forced to pay White Bikes and its controlling company's legal costs, although at least up to a point. Rich Energy hadn't paid a penny. Whether they have or not since then, I'm not sure. But White Bikes sure weren't happy about it, I'd tell you that for free. Although they weren't quite as unhappy as Mr. Storey was, who went on a social media tirade where he vehemently blasted White Bikes and the Haas Formula 1 team, who he felt was severely underperforming. And while yes, they were underperforming, the explosion on Twitter didn't really help if we're totally honest. Storey then claimed that he had cancelled the sponsorship contract between Haas and Rich Energy, although later on, the company's shareholders tried to put an end to all of it and cited what transpired as being the rogue actions of one individual. When asked about the subject on Netflix's Drive to Survive, team owner Gene Haas claimed that other than the initial $35 million, Rich Energy hadn't paid the team anything else that was agreed upon in the contract. He said, she said, it was all a mess. The day after the British Grand Prix, documents on UK's Company House revealed that Storey was removed from his role as CEO of Rich Energy and that the name of the company had changed to Lightning Volt Limited. Storey then claimed that he had sold his majority stake in Rich Energy and discussed at the conduct of duplicitous minority stakeholders. With regard to Lightning Volt Limited, that company has since been in liquidation with no activity since 2019. A new company was then formed called Rich Energy Limited with no mention of William Storey, and yet he's leading the renaissance back to Formula 1 for the brand? So perhaps now will be a good time to talk about Storey. Right on, here we go. William Storey is a British businessman who runs Wolf Data Systems, who is managing director of Wolf Jerky, and is, or maybe isn't, the founder and CEO of Rich Energy. Either way, he's the man looking to lead Rich Energy back to Formula 1. Now, trying to find the source of this guy's wealth ended up giving me Vietnam flashbacks to Andrea Sassetti. Basically, he acquired his wealth through either playing poker or through his tobacco farms in Zimbabwe, or maybe both, I don't know. What we do know is how this man behaves. Now, he's a well-spoken guy. Make no mistake. Very intelligent despite his somewhat strong opinions. There's even a part of me that likes this bloke. Not in that way. But you've got to have a few characters around to remind yourself that Earth is still a fun place to live sometimes. But sometimes, it gets too much. Such as that interesting occasion at Silverstone where he went on that tirade. And his desire to get back into F1 is a strange one at that, given how he had previously said that its politics and PC attitude was inhibiting its business. But now he wants to get back in. Why? After the Haas debacle, Storey announced that he had sold his majority stake in the legal entity of Rich Energy to a third party, and that, in the words of Arnold Schwarzenegger, he'll be back. Nah, actually, if Arnie had a say in any of this, he'd probably say get to the chopper and off. But all jokes aside, however, why has he decided to return to the sport given everything that's transpired? Well, to answer this, let's have a look at what the entity has done since leaving Formula 1 in 2019. In 2020, Rich Energy became the title sponsor of British superbike team OMG Racing. A certain amount of irony in that name. They won nothing that year, but it appears to have been a productive relationship between the two, with little in the way of turmoil, which was a nice change. They've also supported Michael Kreese in the British Touring Car Championship. They've sponsored the British Mini Bike Series, Peter Pettichik and Open Wheelers, and they now have ambassadors in Alvaro Bautista and Matt Neal. Outside of motor racing, Storey also made a serious bid to purchase Sunderland Football Club. However, this was turned down, and now here we are with a second attempt at Formula 1 sponsorship. So where do they fit in with Formula 1 today? Well, toward the end of 2020, they announced that they would be returning to Formula 1, with details being revealed in February 2021. February 2021 came around, and Storey revealed that the brand was originally seeking to enter their own team for 2022 under the name Rich Energy F1 Team. However, a quote-unquote friend of theirs had purchased a majority stake in a pre-existing team, of which they would become a partner for the 2021 season before becoming a title sponsor in 2022. Although no specific team was announced. So basically, the announcement was an announcement of an announcement. But what did this announcement tell us? Well, obviously, there's a team out there who are in desperate need of money. And obviously, we now know that it isn't the Alfa Romeo Formula 1 team. The only other options at this point are Williams and Haas. But just getting back to Storey's announcement, what was in there that we can use as some sort of evidence to suss out where exactly he's going?
A friend of ours has agreed a deal for a majority stake in a Formula 1 team, and we will become a partner of that team for 2021. Once that acquisition is announced, we will become the title sponsor for 2022.
So, a strategic ally that is purchasing a majority stake in a Formula 1 team, acquiring the team by the 2022 season. At the moment, there is one team that has a Russian investor with large financial backing supporting the team. There is one team that has an owner that wants to sell his share, take the money, and run home. That one team is Haas. Some may ask why Haas will take someone back like Rich Energy, but of course 12 months from now it won't be Gene Haas's problem anymore. Not to mention Storey's unwavering support of one of Haas's current drivers, who is the son of the aforementioned Russian investor. Of course, that's all a hypothetical, but in this case, the dots connect. However, this could all just be waffle. Not that that sort of thing is completely alien to the brand, but say that this were true. What does this all mean for the sport? To have an entity like that back on a Formula 1 car broadcast to the world. Honestly, if there's one thing to take from the last time these guys were in the sport, it's that it could very quickly turn into a freak show if it all goes south. But while we don't need the theatrics of a man acting like a castrated raccoon on angel dust, we also don't want teams to close their doors. If Rich Energy are going to properly invest in a team to keep them afloat, and if Storey is willing to possess a modicum of patience this time, I guess having this guy back in the sport isn't such a bad thing. But how long will that last before he, or the people around him, switch off? That was so f***ing cheesy. But hey, I got a question for you all. Want some free stuff? I thought you would. So my good friend Cammy runs a store on Etsy, where she makes all these prints and stuff, and honestly, everything on here is killer. I even own a few of her works, they're that good. So here's the skinny. The prize for this giveaway is this awesome print of Jensen Button's Brawn car from 2009. Conditions for this giveaway are pretty straightforward. Answer the trivia question on the screen, provide a link to an item on Cammy's store that you personally like, and send those answers off to the email address you see on the screen. Don't put them in the comments, I'm not going to be able to see them. Got it? Awesomest! Anyways, thank you all for watching this video. What do you think will become of Rich Energy? You all know the drill. Drop a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you're awesome, and always remember, keep it respectful, be wholesome, don't be a menace, and as always, I'll see you all later.